At night, there is an absence of sunlight, making it impossible for the light depending reactions to occur. Thus, light becomes the limiting factor for photosynthesis during the night time. There is a linear relationship between incident light and CO2 fixation rates at low light intensities. Loose packing of parenchyma cells in leaves, stems, and roots help to facilitate gaseous exchange. Phosphoglycerate dehydrogenase, also called glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase, catalyzes oxidation of PGAL, phosphoglyceraldehyde, to 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid. In this step, there is reduction of NAD+. Fermentation occurs in many prokaryotes and unicellular eukaryotes under anaerobic conditions. 2 ATPs produced from 1 glucose during glycolysis, 36 ATPs produced from 18 glucose. 1 pyruvate gives 1 CO2, 36 pyruvate will give 36 CO2. Alpha ketoglutarate, succinate, fumarate, malate, oxaloacetate are all dicarboxylic acids. Oxidative decarboxylation of pyruvate is done by enzyme pyruvate dehydrogenase. The TCA cycle begins with the condensation of acetyl coenzyme A, oxaloacetate, and water to form citric acid, which is catalyzed by enzyme citrate synthase, and a molecule of CoA is released. CoA is acetyl coenzyme A. In the mitochondrial inner membrane, NADH reduces FMN in complex 1 of ETC, electron transport system, ETS. Oxygen is the final electron acceptor in the ETC, so it is generally the limiting factor for aerobic respiration. Oxidation of 1 NADH in the mitochondrial electron transport chain pumps 10 protons from the matrix to the intermembrane space. Ubiquinol reduces complex 3 and does not oxidize complex 2. Ubiquinone located within the inner mitochondrial membrane. Cytochrome C located on outer surface of the inner mitochondrial membrane. Cells typically prefer carbohydrate for respiration first, then fats, and finally proteins as energy sources. Vitamins are not used as respiratory substrates. Respirometer is the instrument used to measure RQ accurately. In muscle, complete oxidation of glucose to produce 38 ATP does not happen because muscle cells switch to lactic acid fermentation when oxygen is scarce, converting pyruvate to lactic acid. Beta oxidation of fatty acids occurs in the mitochondria and peroxisomes and leads to the production of acetyl coenzyme A. NADH oxidation occurs faster in aerobic than anaerobic. Proximal to the phase of elongation lies zone of maturation, which have features like cells of this zone attain their maximal size in terms of wall thickening and protoplasmic modifications. In arithmetic growth, R represents the growth rate or elongation per unit time. The growth curve of an organ, tissue, and cells of a plant over time typically shows a sigmoid. Organisms growing in natural environment also show sigmoid curve. Tracheary element loses protoplasm and develop elastic lignocellulosic secondary cell wall. Oxygen helps in releasing metabolic energy essential for growth activities. In geometric growth, relative growth rate remains constant while absolute growth rate increases. Temperature, oxygen, gravity, and light all influence plant growth and development.